Hello, good evening, and welcome to this edition of Ask Andrew Anything on Email Marketing. And this is episode 49. So fast, 49. I show up live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. normally. Today is a bit late because I need to put in the slides together. But generally, I show up live for at 9 p.m. for and speak to you for about 30 minutes and to share with you ideas and also answer your questions with regards to email marketing. But the interesting thing is, this whole week, there was no questions, and that doesn't mean that we're going to stop learning. So what I did is I went through my LinkedIn profile, look at the people that I follow, that I respect, and these are email experts. These are fellow email experts, and we want to share with you some of the posts that they do, which we can then turn into something that we can learn and use for our own email marketing. How cool is that? Okay. So before we start, if you're new to me, my name is Andrew, and this is what I do. I always forgot to switch to this. There you go. I help businesses build deeper relationships with their prospects and also their clients through the medium of emails. And there are two ways of doing it, obviously. One is B2B outreach, right? Which to help you generate leads. And then there's an inbound marketing, which is people who have given you permission for you to email them. And that is designed to convert leads into customers. So that's what I do. Wait, before that, is that all? Okay. So, like I say, for this week, we're going to do something different. We're going to look at other people's posts or other email experts' posts and pick up some of the ideas that we could use, that you could even use for your own email marketing. Okay. So, the first one is yours truly. Obviously, we're going to start with me first because it's my show. So, there are several reasons why people will complain your emails as spam. So I've listed out a few. One is obviously when you're selling something to people that they don't need. Okay. Number two is when your email has too many links. It looks spammy. It looks scary. Okay. So that's one way of looking at it. And obviously, if the idea is email is a one-to-one communication. So as far as the reader is concerned, when they receive an email from you, it's as if you are sending an email to them, although you may be sending to thousands as well. But personalization, having the person's name is important. So, but if you get a person's name wrong, then it's kind of embarrassing. Okay. And people are short of, they don't have the patience anymore. And unless your email is written so well, it tells the story so well, like, why certain people find that, 1.5 hours for a movie is too long. And yet at the same time, people stay 3 hours to watch an Avengers movie, right? So that is because if your copy is written well, then it's fine. But generally speaking, it is advisable to keep your copy short and keep your copy straight to the point, okay? Because people don't have that much time. The next thing, obviously, is they didn't sign up for this. So if that's the case, that's considered spamming, right? So when you do, this is related to inbound marketing. When you send emails, you send emails to people who have given you explicit, I repeat, people who have given you explicit permission to send emails to them. Other than that, don't even try, okay? Your content may not be relevant to them. So that happens if you are doing an email blast. You got a list of, let's say, 10,000 subscribers, and you're going to send an email to all of them without taking into account their interests, without taking into account their needs. That's where the emails that they receive is not relevant, right? You may even piss them off, and they may unsubscribe, or they may report you as spam. Same thing from here. He has no value to the reader. So if your email is not well crafted, it's not well thought through, and you don't put the reader in front of whatever you do, and it has no value, then there's a very strong chance that your emails will be reported as spam. I don't trust you, right? So if you bypass, let's say, the welcome series, for example, which is a series of emails to introduce yourself, and they have not had the time nor the opportunity to be acquainted with you, then they won't trust you. They won't know you. Okay. Maybe your email is boring. People want entertainment. People want to be entertained. People want to be educated. But if your email is a long stretch of text which doesn't lead the reader anywhere, then better not send. Okay, your email is wasting time, right? So if it's not only is boring, it's wasting their time because it didn't tell them what they need to do, what they need to learn, what they can benefit from it. Okay, and finally, combine, that is the ingredient for what you call a junk email. Okay, so don't be a spammer. Follow the tips above, and you'll be pretty much safe with your subscribers. Let's move on to the next one. This is Yana Tori. And if my dear friend Ed is Mr. Deliverability, Miss Yana Tori is Miss Deliverability. Okay. And she has a few tips that she can share with regards to, sending emails and also creating an ecosystem to drive results. One of the things is, like I say, and it's similar to what I've mentioned earlier, you have to put the subscribers first. Second thing, there is only so much you can do. I've seen a lot of email marketers or even clients, they focus too much on getting the image right, getting the graphics right, and trying to do some fancy stuff like having to code HTML emails. The thing is, those things would only be useful if your message is clear, if your message is useful to your subscribers. That is number one. If the message is not good, the rest of the image, no matter how nice it is it's nice to look at, but it doesn't serve the purpose of the reader. Okay, so that's the next one. And obviously your email analytics, you look at your segmentation, you look at their engagement, you look at what are the emails that you get a lot more opens or even clicks, you look at their reply rates, for example. That would then form or give you an idea how you can approach content which is relevant to your readers. And finally, as in anything in marketing, it's all about testing, because the market knows better than you. So what you do is you put up a few emails and you make sure that you're able to do either run tests like A/B tests, for example. You may want to test the timing of your send. You may want to test even your content, for example, or even subject lines, right? That's where you do your A/B test. So that's one way of doing it. And over time, you have a clearer idea of what are the subject lines or what are the content that's relevant to your users. And finally, although we're in email, remember the entire marketing system is huge. You have social media, you have videos, you have audios, you have podcasts and all those things. So don't just look at email as the one and only channel, but look at email as one of the many channels that you can use to complement your entire marketing. Okay, so that's from Ms. Yana Tori. Let's move on. And this gentleman, Nontas, he is a marketing automation expert. Let's see, do I have any comments? No. Okay, let's proceed. And he's sharing about how a bunch of bad emails or poor emails, or when you send an email blast without consideration of your readers, and some spam complaints could actually affect your open rates. Why? Because if your even deliberability or even your email reputation tanks, then the amount of emails that will reach your inbox will obviously be reduced because the rest of them has been sent to junk. And that's why your open rates may see a drop. And because your open rate drops, then naturally your click rates will also drop. So there's a few things that you need to do. One is never be afraid to unsubscribe the engaged people. Very clear. Don't be fixated with the idea of keeping a huge number of email subscribers on your list. It doesn't make sense. If they're not engaged, you should let them go. Number one. Number two is, similarly to what I mentioned earlier, do not send your email to the entire list. You got to segment them. The keyword is you got to segment them, and you got to remove the segments that's not relevant and not, or either not include the segments that are not relevant to whatever emails that you want to write. Then you can use automation to automatically unsubscribe readers who have not engaged. So in all of your ESPs, for example, there are ways they will tell you that, this particular group of subscribers or these subscribers have not been engaging, open or click your email for the last 45, 60 days, 30 days, and all those things. So you can actually pick a period of time that you say if they do not engage, then you should release them or you should unsubscribe them. Okay. And end of the day, while it's nice to have, in his case, let's say 60,000 contacts, if only 20,000 of them or even 1/3 of them are engaged with you, you should keep those and release the other 2/3. Okay. It's not about the quantity, it's about your quality of your subscribers that matters. So that's the advice from Mr. Nontas. And here there's another one. Oh, this is from Joseph Paulo Dandan. He's also another fellow email marketer. And he is sharing a very interesting tip. Your iPhones will actually cut off the subject lines when it's over 32 characters, right? So when you write sometimes some of your subject lines may need to be long. So what you do is you got to write it such a way that the keywords or the important words must be up front, and so that if it's truncated on the screen, you will at least see the keywords and given an idea of basically what are the things that they should look at or open your emails for. So here's another tip. Your from name. Okay, let me change this. Your from name. For example, let's say Andrew. You can use as Andrew Wong, or in my case, all right. Your from name, there is a limitation of 20 characters. Anything more than that, then it will be truncated. So let's say, for example, if I this is exactly 20, but if I change to, let's say, Andrew, the email guy, then very likely that it'll be truncated like this. So your full name or your full from name will not be visible. So remember, if you have a lot of users, which is on, let's say, iPhone or the Apple platform, for example, and a lot of users now, about 70% are reading your emails on the mobile device, keep it to below 32 characters. If you have to, and if your subject line is longer, make sure that the keywords or the important words of your subject lines comes up front first. And at the same time, be aware of your 20 character limits. It's not really a limit, but basically anything more than 20 characters, it will be truncated. And you make sure that your from name is limited to that so that at least I can see the full name. Okay, because first thing first, when they receive an email, they'll see who is this from. So if they do not recognize the person, then very likely that they will not open your emails, right? So this is an interesting fun fact for Joseph. This is another one, a gentleman, Jay. Okay, I'm going to try this slowly. Jay Sweldelson. Okay, his post about emails are very interesting. It's laden with numbers. It's laden with statistics. If you can, you should follow him. And his post is pretty interesting or pretty funny as well. But I pick up this is because these are the things that we do often, all of us. When we write our CTA button, most of the time we will fall into this, right? Download, the CTA button with the description, download now, buy now, or register now. What Jay is suggesting is, and he's proven based on his stats, you get 24% higher click-through rates when you start or when you use benefit as your buttons, right? So instead of describing download now, you should start with the benefit of get a tips or get information or whatever it is that you want to use, okay? Another one is instead of buy now, you can use save now, all right? Or instead of register, then you say save my seat or book my seat. So a slight tweak like this, according to Jay, would see possibly an increase about 24% or probably higher click-through rates with your button, and it makes absolute sense. Okay, so take note of that. And now, just a quick break. Now, if you have questions about email marketing and you've tried your Google and you can't find the answers, for example, you're welcome to submit to me and I come out live every Wednesday where I will answer your questions. And if you want to, just go to this site, ants.digital/ask. It will lead you to a simple Google form, fill in your email address because it's mandatory. And at the same time, then fill in your questions and I will answer them in the following week. Simple, easy peasy, okay? For free. And finally, I'm mostly active on LinkedIn because that's where my customers hang out. So it makes sense for me to spend more of my time there. And if you like to see, posts like this, or even the people that I follow, for example, and, to expand your knowledge about email marketing, then go to ants.digital/LinkedIn. It leads to my LinkedIn profile, and you can click follow me, or even the bell button if you want to be notified whenever I post. I post quite regularly, maybe 3-4 times a week. Sometimes crazy enough, I'll do it daily. But whatever it is value with regards to email marketing. Okay. So let's continue. Mr. J is back. Now, this is an interesting fact, which I agree with him. He is saying that your re-engagement should not start at 6 months of inactivity. That's way too long. That means if your subscribers have not activated or so have not engaged with you for more than 6 months, and you try to so-called send the re-engagement emails and say, hey, we miss you, and we know life could get in the way, for example, and would you like to continue to subscribe to my list and all those things? Don't do it too long. Don't wait until 6 months. 30 days, if they do not engage, very likely they will never engage with you. Okay, so his suggestion is 30 days. You can try 45 days if you're a bit worried, or even 90 days. My recommendation is between 30 to 45 days will be just ideal. And of course, depends on the frequency of your send. So if you send once a week, then yes, maybe 60 days will be relevant. But if you send like 3-4 times a week, by 30 days, you should pretty much know how active or how engaged are your subscribers. Okay. So 3 weeks of inactivity, assuming if you send very regular, like 3 or 4 times a week, those are the trigger points that you should be aware of for your subscribers' engagement. Okay, that's from Jay. Oh, there's another one. He is now talking about PS. And PS, according to him, increased the overall click-through rates by 14%. Now, PS is essentially, this is your email. How do I do this? Okay, this is your email. And then obviously you have your signature. And then you have your PS, right, at the bottom. So most users, what they do is they would either skip all the way to the bottom, because this is where most of the CTA buttons are located. So they just want to know, just skip the rest of the email, tell me what I need to do, and I'll just make a decision whether I want to click on it or not. So when you put it at the PS, it is what you call like Steve Jobs, one last thing or one more thing. Okay. So according to Jay, by having a PS at the bottom, especially if it's a action or call to action related kind of emails, it will actually increase your CTA by 14%. So no harm trying it, just a few lines of text. Okay, so that's from Jay. And this is Chase. He is definitely one of the top e-commerce email marketer, and he has an interesting take on how your emails should be written or the method. And I think this makes sense because your email should only have one primary goals. For example, he gives an example. You don't ask them to buy a product and at the same time ask them to read your blog and at the same time ask them to share a tweet. That's just too much. You should just either pick any one of this and then go with it. Okay, so one primary goal, one purpose, and then one CTA. That's how. If you have a few more other messages, you can always send another email the next day or the following day. No issue. So you don't have to cram everything into your email. So that's Chase's recommendation with regards to how to create effective emails. I agree with that. That's how you should do it. One reader, your email should be written for one reader, and your email should have one CTA with one subject. Anything more than that, you can schedule it into another emails. Okay? Who else? Oh, there's another one from Jay. No, sorry, not Jay, Chase. He's suggesting, and this is the copywriting hack, replace adjectives with verbs. That means your emails or your copy should be more action oriented. Okay, so for example, he gave, your facial cleanser cleans your pores, moisturizes your skin, adjusts your skin type, is pretty meh, right? But what you want to do is you want to say, oh, sorry, let me get it wrong. I got it wrong here. You want to avoid describing and then talks directly to them as to what your product is going to do. So instead of adjective, make it more action. I don't know. My English grammar, I'm not native English, but as far as I'm concerned, these are all action-oriented description. Okay, so you can a slight tweak of your content, of the way you write, makes a lot of difference with regards to how people will perceive your email and how they will take action on your email. And Miss Yana Tori is back. There's a big difference between unsubscribe and spam complaints. Unsubscribe is where the person tells you that I do not or no longer want to receive emails from you. That's unsubscribe. But when they start making spam complaints, and this is something that you should avoid at all costs and you should be aware of at all costs, is they effectively is telling the mailbox providers, your Gmails, your Yahoo Mails, your Outlook, that, hey, I don't want to receive emails from this guy. That's where, when your spam rates increase, your email deliverability will suffer. You want to encourage them to unsubscribe if they don't find your emails useful, and should make your unsubscribe button as prominent as possible so that they don't take the drastic action of reporting your emails as spam. Okay? And lastly, Mr. Deliverability is back, my dear friend Ed. So there's a few things that you can do or you can watch out for with regards to your emails. Number one is you should be aware to keep your spam rate down to 0.01%, as low as possible. Okay. So for example, in his case, he's suggesting, at the very least, one spam rate report for every 1,000 emails that you send. This is critical. The second thing is bounce rate, below 2%. Now, bounce rate is a reflection of how you clean your email list or how hygiene is your email list. So for example, if you do not monitor your email list, some people may say at gmail.com without the L, for example, it could be a typo error, or either some of the emails, they may have not used the emails anymore, or you have not implemented double opt-ins to make sure that the emails are exactly what they are, and it's actually an active email account, for example, then your bounce rate would increase. But if you clean up and you make sure that double opt-ins or other methods to verify that the email is valid, then it is very easy for you to keep your bounce rate down. Okay. Number three is, here is Ed's rule, the 8:30 rule, which is 8% of your email opens should happen within the first hour. And over time, your open rate should be between 30% or, in his case, I think he mentioned to me, his open rate is about 70%. So that's awesome. But for most of us mortals, for example, anything above 30% is considered good. But be aware of the 8:30 rules. 8% of your email opens should happen within the first hour. That means that is where you determine whether your sending time is correct. So you got to test this. Do you send at 8 o'clock in the morning? Do you send at 9, 10, 11, or noon or afternoon, for example? You test this over time, and you will know when looking at you, if you use the 8:30 rule, you would have a clear idea, or you have the so-called the sweet spot of sending emails to your list. And finally, your opt-out rates. In Ed's case, he's using the benchmark of 90 days. Jay, remember, is using 30 days. There's no right or wrong, but you must have a fixed date where if they do not engage within a period of time, then you should take the proactive measure to unsubscribe them. So it's 30 days up to 90 days. Okay. So you pick, depending on your frequency of emails that you send per week. 3 to 4 times a week, you should veer closer to 90 days. If you send once a week, then so 3 to 4 times you go closer to the 30 days, sorry. And if you send once a week, then 90 days would be valid. Okay. And one last thing. We have not done this for almost close to a year. And Jason suggested that we should do a webinar, and we came up with the topic of a training webinar only for B2B businesses, because we're going to talk about the power of cold email marketing. It is a free webinar. It's going to happen on this Friday, which is 14th of April at 8:30 p.m. GMT. And it's a live Zoom live stream. It will take about, we're trying to keep it low, no, keep it short, between 30 to 45 minutes at most, where we'll bring down, all the experiences or all the learnings we have done, we've learned about cold email to share with you and to inspire you, hopefully, that you can consider a cold email as another method to add to your marketing. But remember, if you're in the B2B space, if you're in B2C space or consumers, marketing to consumers, for example, then this webinar may not be for you. If you're interested to learn, fine. But generally, if you're in B2B, I will highly encourage you to join this webinar, 30 minutes, 45 minutes at most, and we will share our experiences with regards to cold email. How to get in? Very simple. Just go to ants.digital/cold emails, or you scan the QR code below, and it will lead to a very simple opt-in page where you can just register with Jason. It's hosted on Jason's page, and he will notify you as we get closer to Friday, the Zoom link where you can then participate. We're going to do a live stream, so it's live. Do join if you have the time, 8:30 p.m. and this Friday. And with that, I'm done. 48 minutes, not bad. So what do you think about this method instead of just us answering questions? Let me know in the comments, or let me know in the chats. If you're watching the replay, just put in there. I will read it, and let me know. Yeah, I'm interested whether this method is useful. Then we can interchange between answering questions and also curating tips from other email marketing experts that we can learn together. So with that, thank you so much. I'll see you again next week, 9 p.m. Wednesday. Cheers. Andrew Wong signing off. Have a good evening and good night.